Okay, looks like we're back, and Mr. Steven is back. How you doing, Mr. Stevens? You doing all right, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing great. I apologize I couldn't make it to the first session or the intro.
That's okay, buddy.
Um, but I did watch it, so I have an idea of what you
Mm-hmm.
talked about.
Yes, sir.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Okay, wonderful, man. I thought you were gonna. Okay, good deal. Hey, listen. Okay, so we are in the section of reading and, of course, photo editing. So we are going to go ahead and uh, and let me take my little time on the 15 seconds, 15 minutes of reading, and then of course I'll turn it over to you for video photo editing. Okay, so once again, otra vez estamos en la sección aquí de editando fotos, aquí con Mr. Stevens, y también leyendo y también investigando. Okay, so let's assume, students, that you were given an assignment. Okay, what's the status of the Department of Education? ¿Qué es el estatus? ¿Qué es lo que va a pasar? Okay. So if the research part of a self-sustained school is so important because a lot of it has to do with the keywords that you're typing and researching. And then on top of that, you have to spend your time endless amount of times reading. And then that in itself, you have to break it down because what kind of reader are you? Because everybody different reads at a different level. If you grew up reading books, your speed of reading and comprehension, it's pretty good, okay? But if you're just somebody that your mama said, you know what, man, I'm gonna pull you out of public school, and I want you to just go ahead and stay home because I'm just tired of all the headaches that are going on in public school. Now, it's not as easy as you think, okay? Because you're gonna have to work more than the person that's been doing it for a long time. So this is called differentiation. Differentiation. That means that every student learns differently at a different pace, at a different thought, okay? And that's where the teachers come in. They want to be able to adapt to the way you learn. And they slow it down for some people and they speed it up for some other people, okay? A lot of people used to get upset, probably with me, because I would tell them that some of us are slow learners and some of us are fast learners. But that's just the way we are. I am a slow learner. I've always been a slow learner, okay? So I'm not trying to put anybody down. You just got to know your strength and your weaknesses. I have to read something maybe about two or three times when I was smaller, when I was younger. And even when I read it, I really think that I'm a little bit of dyslexic, but I had a hard time. So I had to go and study more than other people. So as a self-sustained school, you must know your limitations. So let's assume that you're given yourself. You are your teacher. Remember, in this school, we think of each other as our own students and our own teachers. So we're teaching you guys how to go and think for yourselves. So if you give yourself an assignment that says, what is the status of the Department of Education? What's going to happen? Is it actually going to be taken away or is it not going to be taken away? All right. Well, the first thing you can come up here, and of course, you've heard the expression Google up, right? You just look up stuff and figure things out. Okay. And, like Mr. Stevens and myself, we love Professor GPT, right? So that's another option. So now you got two options. Do you Google it up or do you go to ChatGPT? Or check this out. Another different one would be DuckDuck, okay? So now you have three options. You see how you're thinking now? You got three things that you got to think about. Now, you might think, well, there's two different browsers. No, there is a difference in the types of browsers that you're doing. Because according to these guys, they don't make a collection. And Google is making a collection in each one of your searches and records it, and then they give you more on it. DuckDuck, they say they don't do it. I don't think, I haven't seen it yet, but you never know. But that's okay because you're going to figure that out yourself. All right. So let's write what is the status on all three of them, and let's see what kind of information we get. This is the way you're thinking by yourself. Now, let me repeat this in Spanish, okay? Aquí lo que estamos tratando de hacer es que nosotros estamos tratando de enseñarles a ustedes cómo se enseñen a sí mismos, porque ustedes son que ustedes están enseñando a sí mismos y porque no tienen maestros. En esta escuela, ustedes son sus propios maestros. So let's put right here in DuckDuck right here. What is the status of the Department of Education? Will it be closed? Will it be closed by the new administration? Okay. Now here's another thing that we want to teach y'all. How to be sufficient. Are you going to write all that again on the other ones? No, just copy and paste it. Okay. You're doing research. So you're going to select the text, Command C. All right. So that's one, right? So we're going to click on search and we're going to come back to it. Now we're going to put it up in Google here. All right. And then search for it. And now we're going to go to ChatGPT. All right. You're working efficiently. You're not going spending your time typing. Okay. Why? Because you already wrote it down once. You don't have to do it again. And that works for your advantage. All right. Now I'm going to come up here and I'm going to type it in here. And then we go to all three of our searches and see what it's going to give us. All right. So we're going to leave that one till the end. We're going to go to the Google first. Okay. U.S. Department of Education. Okay. You just don't want to go with the first one. You want to go and see the whole, like an eagle. You're looking from the top. Okay, don't jump into one right away. Look at the ones that you have. Okay, and if there's any similar. So U.S. Department of Education dismantles DEI. Okay, so that's not really what we're looking for, but we haven't really read the article. Opinion, the impact of eliminating department. That would be something, but it's still not giving us if it's going to happen. Trump promised to shut down the Department of Education. Well, that's something that might be what we're looking for. What's next president could mean for the U.S. Department of Education? Biden's education, Trump's. So we're looking right now for, I just want to know, is it going to be shut down? Could Trump shut down the Department of Education? Trump pledges. So right now they're so generic that there's not one that you can just go straight to and says, okay, this is it. Now let's look at this other search engine, okay? It says, what would happen to the U.S. education if closed? That's similar to what we just read. And some of the articles are the same, all right? What happens if the Department of Education is dissolved? Okay, that would be probably a new one. A bill to kill the education department's already filed. Okay, so that's already being proposed. It's not something new from the new president. It looks like it was already talked about before. What would happen if the U.S. Department is closed? What would happen U.S. education? So as you can see right now, we really don't see anything that is telling us the status. It's just telling us what would happen. So that's what this is all about. This lesson is about you researching and reading and trying to figure out one of the main things that you're looking for. Aquí lo que estamos viendo es para que ustedes se miren la diferencia de cuando uno investiga una información, mire primero de arriba, no se meta en las cositas. So you're looking at everything from a bird's eye view. We're flying around this area and we're looking and see. If we see something, if we see an article right away that says, this is the status of it will be shut down in February the 3rd. Boom, there it is. That's what you're looking for. But right now, nobody's telling you anything, okay? I want to know what is the status. When is it going to be closed? If it's even going to be closed, maybe it cannot even be closed. Okay. So then we go to ChatGPT over here. What does he tell us now? He's probably the go-to guy that we're going to go to. Okay. So let's go and practice a little reading right now. All right. So remember the question that you put, and this in itself counts a lot for the student. Okay, because some people can write some really nice comments to the point, and those are more effective than the wordiness that I did here. So, as you can see, you got to think about all these things, and this applies to every single thing that you do in life. If you want to know about cars, you're going to do the same thing. Put a text and find different sources. Don't just concentrate on one. Find different sources. And then you're educating yourself. Your brain is absorbing this information. And we're not even talking about videos, all right? We're not even talking about documentaries on this. We're just talking about articles. So, and of course, you have all this time by yourself throughout the week that you're spending your time reading this. And what me and Mr. Stevens suggest really strongly is that you always find breaks. Don't spend your time like you're on a set schedule, all right? If from 9 to 10 is your reading and your photo editing, stick with it, okay? Because the next time you come, it's gonna be like you're hungry. You're hungry to come back to the same time, all right? So even though you want the information, you want to learn it, you got to put a stop to it and then enjoy your life and then come back with the eye of the tiger. You want to learn because you're teaching yourself, you're absorbing information. Now, of course, you can give yourself homework, right? And you can say, you know what, I want to go and spend a little time after class, learn about that. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. Y aquí lo que estamos haciendo es diciéndoles que estamos teniendo nosotros que un schedule. Así que haga lo que tenga que hacer en esa hora y luego relájese, ¿ok? Para que you don't burn out, no se quemen, you don't lose the interest, ¿ok? And feel good about yourself because remember, when you are in a public school and you're probably being one where the sub is just there, babysitting you guys, and you're just right there playing with your phone, you're not doing anything. You're wasting precious time that can be used for situations like this. ¿Ok? Acuérdense que esto les ayuda a ustedes. Acuérdense los momentos que estaban en las escuelas donde están nomás los sustitutos y ustedes nomás están jugando con sus teléfonos. No están usando sus cabezas. Y aquí en esta escuela sí la están usando. ¿Ok? Very important. ¿Ok? So, probably we'll come back to this because my time's almost over. But the main idea was researching, figuring it out. We really want to push you guys for that, okay? The reason I want to do that is because when I want to go back and talk to the school board, I want to be able to say, man, in our school, we are teaching self-sustain. Even if there's no teacher there, the students know how to go and teach themselves. That's a big thing for us, okay? Okay, Mr. Stevens, let me turn it over to you, sir, and then let's see what you got for us.
Let's go for it.
Ahora lo vamos aquí a poner a Mr. Stevens para que él nos diga qué es lo que vamos a hacer.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go.
Yeah. Gotta have the likes of Acosta. Anyway.
There you go. Mini Acosta in the house.
Let's go. Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right,
buddy.
Let's do this. So today we're going to learn a little bit about special effects.
Vamos a estudiar de los efectos especiales.
And the particular effect that we're going to be learning about is lens flare.
Vamos a hablar uno que se llama lens layer.
So let's go ahead and pull this up. Now you might be wondering to yourself, what is a lens flare?
A lo mejor está pensando, ¿qué es un lens layer?
Well, here's a great example of a lens flare right here.
Aquí un ejemplo de una lens layer.
So you can see right here, this is a nice picture of the outside right here.
Aquí un retrato de lo de afuera.
And you can see these things right here.
Y puede ver estas cosas que se miran aquí.
These come from the sun.
Estas vienen del sol.
And this is a great example of a lens flare.
Y esto es un ejemplo de la lens layer.
It really gives really makes it look like, the image is authentic and it's actually outside.
Aquí la imagen es auténtica y está afuera.
Now, of course, this could actually be taken outside,
Esto probablemente fue hecho afuera.
but if you're in a situation where you're outside and this isn't here, we can edit one up.
Y si acaso está en la situación que estuvo afuera y no lo pudo hacer, podemos editarlo de esta manera.
Now, how do you go about doing that?
¿Y cómo puede hacer uno esto?
Well, I have this picture right here,
Aquí tenemos este retrato.
and I think that a lens flare would work nice for this picture.
Y yo digo que aquí se puede usar el lens layer.
So we have our picture here, but now we need a flare.
Y tenemos el retrato aquí, pero necesitamos un layer.
Luckily, on the internet, there are flares all over here.
Y aquí tenemos muchos ejemplos de layers.
And you can add, there's actually some really nice ones.
Y hay unos que son muy buenos.
So the one that I picked out is this one right here.
Y el que seleccionamos es este que está aquí.
And of course, we can do some changes. We can tweak the hue a little bit when we get into the editor.
Y por supuesto podemos cambiarle cosas aquí que nosotros queremos.
But let's go ahead and open up our editor.
Vamos a abrir nuestro editor.
We're going to use Photopea for this.
Vamos a usar Photopea para esto.
So we're going to drag our image into Photopea.
Vamos a arrastrar nuestra imagen aquí en Photopea.
And it's a 4:3 ratio, you can see right here.
4:3.
And then we're going to drag our lens flare in it.
Y vamos a poner el lens layer acá con nosotros, acá en este.
Now our lens flare is a lot smaller, so let's make it bigger.
Y está un poco chico, pero lo vamos a hacer más grandote.
So we can make it fill the screen.
Vamos a hacer que llene la pantalla.
And there you go.
Y aquí lo vemos.
Now, I think it would be better if it came from the other direction. So this is what we're going to do.
Yo creo que es mejor de la otra dirección, eso es lo que vamos a hacer.
We're going to select the image.
Vamos a seleccionar la imagen.
We're going to come up here to, I believe it's, which one is it? I forget which one of these it is. I think it's the edit one.
Creo que esta que se llama editar
Oh no, apologies here, image.
es imagen.
And we are going to find the transform right here.
Y vamos a encontrar el transform.
And we're going to do flip horizontally.
Y vamos a cambiarlo horizontalmente.
And as you can see, when we click on it, now we have it flipped going the opposite way.
Y ahora, como se dan cuenta, ahora cambia la dirección de la imagen.
Now, let's put our image in the right spot.
Vamos a poner nuestra imagen donde debe de estar.
So I'm going to extend this one out a little bit. Like this. I think it'll be all right here.
Aquí lo vamos a poner de esa manera.
Now we can't see the image in the back.
No podemos ver la imagen atrás.
So what we have to do is this.
Así que lo que tenemos que hacer es esto.
We're going to come here. We're going to make sure that we have this selected. And we're going to find this that says 100% on it.
Y aquí vamos a poner donde dice 100%.
We can click this arrow on the side and we can adjust this like this. This is going to be your opacity.
Este se llama opacidad.
So you can kind of see what's going on right here.
Ahora puede verse lo que está pasando aquí con estas dos imágenes.
Now just also notice that this image is also flipped.
Y acuérdese que también la imagen fue cambiada.
So let's fix this.
Así que vamos a ajustarla bien.
You can make that a little bit. Just like that. We don't want to make it really visible.
No la queremos hacer tan visible.
So just like this.
Así como que esta está aquí.
Now it kind of looks a little orange for this particular image.
Se mira un poquito anaranjada para esta imagen.
So I'm going to change the hue.
Vamos a cambiarle el hue.
Now, before we do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this background image and I'm going to click this little lock button
Le voy a
to
cambiar
make
estos
sure
dos
that it
botones aquí.
stays. So just like that right there.
Y así como está en esto, estos botones que estoy manejando aquí.
And now what we're going to do is we're going to select this image.
Vamos a seleccionar la imagen.
And we're going to find the adjustment layer down here on the bottom.
Y vamos a buscar el ajustador aquí abajo.
And then we're going to click hue and saturation.
Y lo vamos a cambiarle aquí donde dice hue y saturation.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the lightness up like this.
Y lo vamos a cambiar de esta manera acá arriba.
And while we're also doing this, we can also come back and adjust the opacity.
Y también podemos ajustar la opacidad.
So that might be a little bright right there.
Eso puede estar un poquito alumbrado.
We can change the saturation. Then we can bring it up just like this.
Puede cambiar un poquito la saturación y hacer esto que está acá.
And then for the hue, oh, look at that. Kind of looks like fall time right there.
Ahí se mira como que si es en la diferente temporada del año.
Look at that right there. You got fall and then you got spring.
Aquí tienen el fall y el spring.
So now you can see, looks quite better right here.
Se mira un poquito mejor aquí como lo tenemos.
It's kind of got that little like it's coming through the trees sort of thing, like the sunlight.
Aquí podemos ver como que si la luz está sobrepasando por el árbol.
Oh, there you go.
Y aquí
That's how you create your own mock little flare right there.
Y aquí es exactamente como usted puede agregarle los filtros y hacer como que si está pasando en vida real.
And of course, feel free to play around with it how you want. Experiment.
Y por supuesto, usted experimente y fíjese a cuál es lo que usted quiere hacer. Cómo puede aplicar otros filtros en el retrato.
And man, this saturation, it really makes a difference. You can see I take it off. You see how it looks right there?
Y fíjense cómo trabaja la saturación. Aquí se le quita.
And then when I turn it back on, you can see that it's a lot brighter.
Y luego cuando se la pongo está más alumbrado.
And I could take the lens flare out, and you can see how the lens flare just makes it look completely different.
Y se fijan como cuando le quitamos la lens flare, lo mira el retrato y es completamente diferente.
And of course, we can save our image.
Y por supuesto, salvamos nuestra imagen.
And there you go.
Y luego ahí la tienen.
I'm going to save it inside this folder.
Y la salvamos en este folder que está aquí.
128 25. There you go.
Y aquí la tenemos, las tenemos salvadas.
That image actually turned out really nice.
Y la imagen realmente se mira muy bien. All right, buddy, that is a good job. That is a good job. Yes, sir. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, that is our lessons for today. The photo editing, and then of course, your reading and researching. We'll come back to it later, but just out of curiosity, just to finish up the reading part of it, is you're giving feedback on a new version of ChatGPT. Says as of now, there's no indication that the Department of Education, DOE, will be closed by the administration. While new administrations can propose changes to the federal agencies, closing an entire department like the DOE would require significant legislative action. The Department of Education is a critical part of the U.S. government overseeing federal funding for education, enforcing civil rights laws in education, and helping with educational policy. So aquí nos está diciendo que ahorita no hay algo que va a cerrar el departamento, pero se va a requerir mucho de que cierren un departamento, porque ahorita está haciendo mucho este departamento. All right, so, and think about it. A lot of times, this might be sufficient for some of us and say, okay, this is the closest that it came to answering my question, okay? And when opposed to this one, I never really got an answer, or maybe you can click on the links and figure that out, all right? So if you were ever to give yourself this type of work and you figure it out, you gotta have a way of telling the world that you actually did it, okay? And you can do it in a form of writing something small. I read these articles, and you put the link on your website. That's it, okay? And then you deserve to get credit for it because you did the work. And then on top of that, we believe you because this is a school of integrity, okay? So we're going to be pushing for this a lot. We're always pushing for this a lot, okay? Estamos recordándoles a ustedes que si ustedes algún día les dan unos proyectos a sí mismo, y hacen todo lo que tienen que hacer, entonces les dan crédito por lo que hicieron, ¿ok? Y porque esto es una escuela que se sostiene a sí misma, y no nomás eso, también se dan ustedes los mismos grados. You know, just to close it up, as one of the things as teachers in high schools, a lot of times the principals would come and observe us. And you know what they started doing? They started doing the same thing that I did. You know that? And then I found that to be fascinating. They would tell us, okay, you grade yourself. Okay, you grade yourself. And then of course, you know, we're gonna grade ourselves. Hey, we're gonna do the best that we can, and we give ourselves the best that we can. Best grade. And we also have integrity as teachers and say, man, I didn't cover that part, so yes, it's okay. I understand. I got to work on that. And that's exactly what I used to do in my classes, integrity.
Wow.
You test yourself and be honest, and then we'll talk about it. And that's where then we would have the meeting between the administrator and the teacher, and then we go over it and say, oh yeah, you didn't cover that, or you covered this, and all that stuff. The only thing I didn't like about that, the only thing I didn't like about it is that the administrators would, once you once you pled guilty to something, they don't go around and tell you, it wasn't that bad. I think you did cover it a little bit. They don't do that because they just want to get you. But in my class, I would try to encourage you. I would say, no, no, it wasn't that bad of a song. It was a good song. You just got to work on it like this, and you got to work on it like that. So you know what? Let me go and throw in a little more points on you. Okay, and that's what we and me and Mr. Stevens are. Whenever you do your work, you're gonna see sometimes that we're gonna tell you, raise up the grade a little bit because you actually did a pretty good deal on it. Okay. So just remember those things, okay? Aquí estamos recordándole a ustedes estudiantes que cuando yo era maestro nos observaban los principales y hacían lo mismo que estamos haciendo en la escuela. Nos hacían que nosotros nos diéramos los grados y luego las cosas que hicimos bien y las cosas que hicimos mal. Y luego ya que estábamos con él en la junta, ellos nos decían, exactamente, yo también observé eso. Pero lo que no me gustaba era cuando nosotros decíamos que no habíamos hecho algo, ellos nunca decían, oh, sí lo podías haber hecho mejor. Nomás querían agarrarte para que decir que hicieron algo mal. And for some reason, they want to give low grades all the time. They don't want to give high grades. I don't know why. I mean, they just want to make sure, okay, they don't want to make the teacher think that they're that good. They're just, I don't know. There might be so many theories on that you will only learn it whenever you get to that point, if you ever get to that point. Okay, well, let's go ahead and take a break. Anything before we close this session up, Mr. Stevens?
I can't believe they're actually like doing that.
Yeah,
I mean that I mean that's what your classroom was pretty much founded upon was integrity.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're doing honestly, it just sounds like they're blatantly copying you, giving you no credit whatsoever.
Yeah, that's and that, I think that's because they want to make sure that if they miss something or they didn't observe something, or at least the teacher's going to help them figure out what is it that they miss. So yeah, man,
Just
we need to
seems like something that they have to work the kinks out on.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, let's take a little break and then we'll be back with the next section, Mr. Stevens. Okay, buddy?
All right, we'll see you guys in the next one.
See you guys on the next one. Hasta la vista in a few minutes, ladies and gentlemen.